Every few years, the Chinese state media releases footage of the Type 99 tank. It fires accurately at long range. It moves fast across open ground. It looks, from a distance, every bit as formidable as an American M1 Abrams or a Russian T-90. Chinese military commentators describe it as proof that the People's Liberation Army has closed the gap with Western armored forces. And on paper, some of the numbers support that claim. But there is one thing the Type 99 has never done in its entire operational life. It has never fought anyone, and the closer you look at why, the more complicated the picture becomes. Origin. Why it existed. To understand the Type 99, you have to understand where China's armored forces stood at the end of the Cold War and how far they had to go. Through the 1970s and 1980s, the People's Liberation Army was equipped primarily with variants of the Soviet T-54, a tank designed in the 1940s. China had reverse-engineered it as the Type 59, and that platform, in various upgraded forms, made up the vast bulk of PLA armor for decades. It was reliable, simple, and thoroughly obsolete by the time the Gulf War demonstrated what modern armored warfare actually looked like. The 1991 Gulf War was a turning point for Chinese military planners, just as it was for defense establishments around the world. Watching American M1 Abrams tanks destroy Iraqi T-72s at ranges of 2 kilometers or more, with Iraqi shells bouncing harmlessly off American armor, was a clarifying moment. The PLA concluded that it needed a generational leap, not another incremental upgrade to an aging Soviet platform, but a genuinely modern main battle tank capable of competing with what the Americans and Russians were fielding. The result was a development program that eventually produced the Type 98 prototype, and then, in 2001, the Type 99, a tank built around a 125mm smoothbore gun derived from Soviet design, a new fire control system with a laser rangefinder and hunter-killer capability, and composite armor that Chinese engineers described as comparable to Western equivalents. It entered service with the PLA ground forces and was publicly displayed at the 1999 National Day Parade, timed deliberately to coincide with the 50th anniversary of the People's Republic. The symbolism was unmistakable. Design and capabilities. On its specifications alone, the Type 99 looks competitive. Its 125mm gun fires the same family of ammunition as Russian-designed systems, including gun-launched anti-tank missiles, a capability the American Abrams does not have. Its fire control system is genuinely modern, featuring thermal imaging, a ballistic computer, and a commander's independent sight that allows the commander and gunner to engage separate targets simultaneously. The composite armor package, while never independently verified, is believed to include reactive armor tiles capable of defeating shape-charge warheads. In controlled tests, Chinese sources have claimed first-round hit probabilities at ranges exceeding 2 kilometers. Type 99 tank, A variant, which entered production in the early 2010s, added an improved engine, an upgraded active protection system, reportedly capable of intercepting incoming missiles, and enhanced digital communications for networked warfare. If the specifications are accurate, it represents a significant step forward from the baseline model. But specifications are not the same as capability, and the Type 99 has an engineering problem that has followed it throughout its production life. The tank is powered by a 1,500 horsepower diesel engine that Chinese engineers have struggled to produce reliably at scale. The engine is based on German MTU technology that China licensed in the 1980s, but has never fully mastered in domestic production. Reports from defense analysts who have tracked PLA maintenance records and procurement patterns suggest that engine reliability has been a persistent issue, one that directly affects operational readiness. A tank that cannot be relied upon to start and move is a tank that cannot fight, regardless of what its gun or its fire control system can do on a test range. The Type 99 weighs approximately 54 tons, and pushing that weight reliably with a domestically produced engine has proved harder than Chinese engineers anticipated. Problems and controversies. The production numbers tell a story that Chinese state media has never chosen to tell loudly. As of the most recent available reporting, the PLA has fielded somewhere between 600 and 800 Type 99 and Type 99 A-tanks combined. That sounds like a significant force until you consider that the United States Army operates roughly 5,000 M1 Abrams variants, that Russia fields the T-72 family in numbers exceeding 10,000, and that China itself has more than 5,000 older Type 96 tanks in service. The Type 99 is not China's primary tank. It is, in many respects, a prestige platform built in limited numbers for elite units stationed in the most strategically sensitive areas, while the bulk of PLA armor remains equipped with older, cheaper, and less capable systems. The reasons for limited production are not entirely budgetary. The engine problem has constrained how quickly the tank can be built reliably. Chinese defense industry sources, quoted in academic analyses of PLA modernization, have acknowledged that the indigenous production of high-output diesel power plants remains one of the most significant gaps in China's ground vehicle manufacturing base. This is not a small problem. It reflects a broader pattern in Chinese defense procurement, where advanced systems are developed and demonstrated but cannot be produced at scale because critical subsystems still depend on foreign technology that China has not successfully replicated domestically. There is also the question of doctrine. The Type 99 was designed for a specific threat environment, a high-intensity land war in northern China or on the Korean Peninsula, where armored forces would face Russian or American equivalents in large-scale maneuver warfare. That threat environment has not materialized, and China's actual security challenges, Taiwan, the South China Sea, border disputes with India at high altitude, are not scenarios for which a heavy main battle tank is the primary solution. The Type 99 is optimized for a war that China is not currently fighting and may not fight in the form it was designed for. The combat record, meanwhile, is non-existent. Unlike the Abrams, which has been tested in Desert Storm, Iraq, and against a range of adversaries, the Type 99 has never fired its gun in anger. It has performed in exercises, in parades, in carefully staged demonstrations. Whether its fire control performs under the stress of real combat, whether its armor holds against modern anti-tank weapons, whether its crews can sustain operations over days or weeks, none of these questions have been answered because the tank has never been asked to answer them. Legacy and today. None of this means the Type 99 is worthless. It is a real tank with real capability, and in a head-to-head technical comparison with the export versions of Western designs that China is most likely to face in any regional conflict, it holds up reasonably well. The fire control system is genuinely competitive. The gun-launched missile capability is a meaningful tactical option, and the Type 99A's active protection system, if it performs as claimed, addresses one of the most significant threats facing modern armor. But a tank's value is determined not just by its specifications, but by how many of them exist, how reliably they run, and how well the crews who operate them have been trained in real conditions. On all three measures, the Type 99 raises questions that the PLA has not fully answered. China is aware of these gaps. The Type 99's successor programs and the emerging VT-5 program for lighter forces suggest that Chinese engineers are iterating on lessons learned, including the engine problem. PLA exercises have become more realistic and more demanding in recent years, which will eventually produce the kind of trained crews that a modern tank requires. The more honest assessment is that the Type 99 is exactly what you would expect from a country that made the transition from Soviet-era reverse engineering to independent armored vehicle development in roughly 3 decades. It is genuinely advanced in some respects, genuinely limited in others, and surrounded by state media claims that consistently outrun the verified facts. Whether it closes the remaining gap with Western armor, or whether the next generation of anti-tank weapons makes the question irrelevant before it does, is one of the more consequential unanswered questions in contemporary military analysis. If this kind of analysis is useful to you, subscribe and stick around. There's a lot more where this came from. The Type 99 is one piece of a much larger story about how China is building its military, what it has actually solved and what it is still working on, and how to read the gap between what state media claims and what the available evidence supports. Next video, we're looking at a Western weapons program that had the opposite problem. Technically brilliant, produced in large numbers, and still managed to fail spectacularly in the field. Drop a comment on which program you think it is. We'll see you in the next one.